Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
And I'm Dr. Ashley K. Smalls. Today we have content creator and full-time magical girl.
Do I say my name?
Yes.
Oh, Tiffie Starchild. Hi. I already messed it up. Damn.
So glad to have you, though. Yeah, I told you before we started, you've been on my short list of folks I've been wanting to have on because we like a lot of the same nerdy shit.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
And we also have content creator who likes to make it blacker and make it gayer.
Hey, it's me, Michael, BlackgayComicGeek. Glad to be back on the channel.
Real quick, before we get into the episode, I want to do a little plug for our new drop on Etsy. I just did a drop of X-Men and Buffy designs. We got Cyclops and Magneto from 97 Season 1. We also have stickers of them. I got from Buffy Season 5, Punch Spike, and the Hell God Lurificus. Also have Queen Cordelia from Homecoming, aka Slayerfest 98 episode. I gifted one of these to Charisma Carpenter and she really liked it as well. And my two favorites, Psylocke and Polaris. You can check them over at our Etsy shop. There's a link in the description below. Buy yourself something. It helps keep this podcast going, helps me not go broke over the summer, and any and all support is much appreciated. Thanks. Hello, Michael, I was thinking, I was like, oh shit, I didn't have Michael on for season 1. And then I remembered that you were on with T.S. Madison. And I was like, oh right, you were on for the episode. Our Discord made like memes from that episode because like we all kept reacting so much to what she was saying.
What she was doing, yeah.
But so we are here to talk X-Men 97, season 2, episode 8, Dead Man's Hand. Tiffy, it's your first time on for, in general, but for X-Men, what have you thought of the season so far?
Ooh, well, I feel like, so I love the X-Men down. I have to separate the hardcore X-Men fan that's just like rabid for anything that sits up and been like, yeah, the Fox movies were great. And I'm like, well, Tiffy, is that true? So I love X-Men stuff so much that I have to separate the part of me that's just happy to see them. And when I do that, there's part of me I feel like they've done this thing where they try to give everybody so much shine, which I appreciate, but it's resulted in just the fastest of storytelling. And if you have to either, I don't know, I feel like you can watch it just on its own, but I don't know if that's true or not, or if you have to kind of check in with content creators that are breaking them down or reading the blogs about it or watching YouTube videos, or if you just have the comic book knowledge. So I think that's the biggest flaw. They're doing a lot with such little time. So for all of the greatness that there is, I want longer episodes. I want more episodes per season, because anything that was great to me was still way too fast. So a great season, but everything is just moving at lightning speed. So
yeah, Michael.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Tiffy said, like I feel the same way. Like I feel like in terms of like episodes, they're good episodes, but we are speeding through like 20 plus years of X-Men content that you don't really have a moment for the moments that they do introduce to like breathe and to really sit in it. Like, even just for example, Wolverine lost his claws at the end of season 1, instantly got him back. So there was no moment of like really getting to see any type of consequences of what is Wolverine without his claws, or how is his dynamic, or like maybe him going feral like he does in the comics. We don't see any of that. It's just get his claws back, and it's like, okay, well, who cares? Because he just lost them. So like that's kind of what I feel with this season overall. And I feel like this episode really shows that, but we'll get into more into that when
keep segueing, because I'm going to ask what you thought of this episode by itself in general. So go ahead.
So yeah, going into that, like I feel like nothing showcases the breakneck speed of the season more than this episode, because there's this whole buildup of Gambit going evil, potentially him coming back, being the Horseman of Death, and the episode that he came back and he comes back as evil is the same episode that they resolve it. And being that this is mostly a Buffy podcast, throwing in a Buffy reference, I feel like think of it as like if after the episode of Innocence, where Angel and Buffy have sex and Angela shows up and he's evil. Imagine if Buffy resolved that in the same episode.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have
Yeah.
it was like, oh, that's cool and all, but I kind of feel unsatisfied. So that's basically how I feel with both the season and the episode. There's a lot of cool moments and a lot of, interesting things, but I don't care as much as I could and should have
Yeah.
because there's not enough
Yeah.
episodes.
Ashley, what'd you think of this episode overall?
This is the consequence of us no longer having 22 episode seasons, which X-Men 92 very much, those were some, I don't want to say long ass seasons because technically they were the level that we used to get our TV shows. Like it was the
Right.
way that it was supposed to be. And now, to Michael's point of like, we're just like, everything has to both happen. There has to be the central conflict, and it also has to be resolved by the end of the episode so we can get to the next storyline, basically next episode. Like the fact that even like Wolverine losing his claws and getting them back was like what, 2, 3 episodes ago? It's like, goddamn, you already feels like we're a season removed from that because it's just
Yeah.
like, all right, this is the thing that happened, and moving on. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting whiplash, And even this episode, we get like this very quick reference to remind us, oh yeah, Wolverine got his claws back. That's nice. And then we never hear from Wolverine again for the rest of the fucking episode. So it's like this thing of just like it's so much happening, and you can tell it's like they're speed running through this storyline because obviously whatever's happening in the next episode is this next part where they got to be past this part to get there. Like we get the build up at the end of not even build up. I'm just using that for lack of a better word of like, all right, so next episode is going to be X Factor teaming up with Cyclops, not Cyclops, excuse me, with Cyclops'
Cable.
son to yeah, Cable to now that becoming the central conflict of them against X-Men. It's like, goddamn, like we just got Gambit back and now we already have the
Yeah.
conflict, but it's like it's just so many, and I want people to understand like these are storylines that happen for a while before you get the main conflict and fight, and we're just getting them in what it is, what, 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I hate just reiterating what has essentially already been said, but like unfortunately this was the episode that really showed this problem that like I've kind of been dancing around to like
Yeah. Hmm.
see where things go. And now, especially because we knew that this built up from the minute that Gambit died. Like we knew he was
Right.
coming back as Death. We knew this was happening. So it's like to get it, to finally get it and also have it resolved in the same episode was kind of crazy.
Yeah. Tiffy.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
There are so many pieces of the episode itself that makes me very happy. Like Rogue, because they have so many characters and not everyone is going to have their moment. We didn't hear a lot from Rogue this season, which is wild because she had such a heavy first
Yeah.
season. We got so much Cyclops, Jean, and Nathan in that storyline, especially in the first couple of episodes. It's just a couple of lines here, which is fine because I'm sick of it. I'm also sick of Jean talking about we're a family, as if she didn't sit up and call that man's mama an it. And if I was him, I'd be like, don't say that we're a family again, goddammit, because I know what you said about my mother. I can read your fucking mind, bitch. You never like. I would go off so bad if I was Cable talking about let's use the power of family to solve this shit. Get the fuck out my face. These are the things I think about when I watch the episode. To be honest.
To be fair though, didn't they merge at the end of last season?
What happened?
I was like, to be fair though, didn't they merge
Oh,
Madeline
Cable
and
and
Jean?
no, she
They didn't
died.
merge?
Madeline
I thought they
died.
She
did. I thought
died.
yeah, I know she died, but I thought she gave her like consciousness to Jean.
I don't think she gave her
I don't think so.
consciousness. They had a moment of
Yeah.
understanding. And we saw Jean say, yeah, and it was like, I'ma love your kid like he was my kid, bitch, but you gotta go. That was the energy that I got from Jean on
Because I
that.
thought
So,
I thought that like their way of like getting rid of the convoluted nature of Madeline and I thought they had them merged.
no, they
No.
killed that lady. They made it nice and neat, and they made it so sanitized for Cyclops. That's something that this series did really well. It rescued Cyclops' reputation as far as him as a man outside the team.
Yes, I actually noticed that people seem to, and I do like this version of Cyclops in the cartoon, and it has done a lot for people liking him more, I think. I agree. I hate to just again reiterate, like you said, Ashley, but I'm gonna be reiterating. Last season, I feel like I defended it more because we still had an overarching story where it was like Bastion is our big bad. All right, we get these one-offs, but like we know that there is a big bad.
Mm.
This season, it was like we got what, 2 episodes of Apocalypse, and then now we're back, but it's like he's not even really in this episode until the very end. And like the Cerebra episode was the first episode where I was like, ooh, now I feel like I don't know where we're going. Like we are
Mm.
just breezing through storylines. And I loved Polaris. I loved the stuff we got from her. But all of these have felt like at least two-part episodes. They should be like, and this episode felt like the worst like culprit of that, where it's
The most egregious.
we last season the kicker was Apocalypse has his card. We know he's bringing him back. And then, like you said, Michael, it's like it really is like if Buffy and Angelus had been solved in one episode, where it's like, all right, that was just like a one-off. Who cares? And yeah, and I love Gambit. Gambit, I always say, was like one of my first crushes as a kid. I loved him in the cartoon, so I was kind of excited. Like, I'm not one of those fans that gets mad at that shit. I'm just like, ooh, this is gonna be cool, and it's gonna be heartbreaking. Give it to me. I'm gonna be angsty about it. But it went so fast. I had a couple friends be like, "Oh, I know you love Gambit. Did you cry?" And I was like, "Not really, because it just all happened so fast. I didn't have time to be emotional about it. It was like, all right, keep moving. We got Gambit out. We're gonna keep moving. Now we're going to the next episode. Apocalypse is back." And I don't feel like we have enough time to settle with any of the emotional beats this season. Anthony Oliveira said, I think last week I had him on, that this feels like, and again, no discourse in whatsoever, but it feels like a patchwork season where like the original showrunner had written a season and then they started patching it in and kind of like, but not rewriting it, but just like, well, we're filling in some blanks, and it feels like that this season, and I feel like that's probably true.
It feels like we might have hit the point where the previous writer's work has petered out and we're seeing more of a new storyline come in that maybe wasn't the original intention.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I do know that, like, and again, I just say what I know from sources. I'm not no opinions either way, but I was told that I think it was episode 5 or 6 was where Bo's plot had ended, and then they like filled in the rest because originally he wanted to do Onslaught, and
Mm.
that Disney had turned down that idea.
And it
So
does have me somewhat nervous about season three. Like, where is it gonna go? Especially like the breakneck speed, especially and the fact that we're sticking in this more than likely 9 episode territory. Like, should I use this example? I'm gonna use the example. Allow me to be a little crass for a second.
sure, you
But
never.
of course, me like, but in many ways, this, especially this episode in particular, but this season in general, and this is something a lot of men deal with in general, sometimes some more than others, but in many ways, it feels like when you arrive too early during sex, it's like, yeah, you got to have your orgasm, but because
Yes.
it came so quickly, you didn't really get to enjoy the journey and enjoy the moment. So you're still frustrated at the end of the day. And so that's really how I feel about this episode. Like, oh, yeah, shit, Gambit, you're evil. We got to stop Gambit. Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. Because even
what?
so, we open.
What?
So we open on Rogue's Dream, and for me, I was like, "Oh, cool! This is setting the tone of like we're gonna do a lot of heartbreak, we're gonna do a lot of good emotional shit, because this is good." Rogue's reimagining that scene as if she had danced with Gambit because she regrets it, and I like that. That shit that feels that's like the telenovela drama I love from this shit, where it's like, yeah, of course she would be feeling guilty. You know, he died after she rejected him. You know, and it feels like that's one of the few times we like get that emotional beat. Because then very quickly it's like whatever. She wakes up from her dream. They're playing poker. I thought that was cute. I did like the idea of them playing poker. I have a question for the class though. I was like, wait, so all 8 or 7 of them are playing poker. Are they the only people in this giant building?
Well, no, the
What,
kids.
the kids are there.
Kids don't
Yeah.
probably sleep that late, right?
But aren't the kids
Why?
the kids are at Xavier's where Storm is because she's the headmistress. That's like the
Where were
school.
they? Oh,
Oh yeah, they have
They're
the
in the X
new
Corp. Yeah, they're in the
see,
X
this is
Corp
what I'm
building.
talking
at
about in terms of
school.
how fast it gets, is that like we literally got that at the end of the last episode. So of course now we're so like centered on the actual X mansion. We're forgetting, oh right, they have a whole separate building that things are taking place in now that we
Yeah.
only got to see once. So of course We're forgetting about it. But yeah, I guess so. I guess they would be the only ones there.
And then
Yeah,
not even
like
just that, but like even like the whole buildup of X Corp. Oh, we're starting X Corp. What does this mean? Like we kind of like when we even having this conversation, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they're in a whole separate building. Yeah, like you said. But like, what are they doing with X Corp? Or not even just that, but like in this episode, while they were playing cards, like I love seeing those little small moments that the X-Men get to like sit down
yes.
and breathe as a family. This is the first time they actually got to relax. And not only just that, but this is also Jubilee's first time getting to see her family again after she thought they were dead in the last
Right.
season. And yes, she knows they're still alive because Xavier made the announcement for X Corp. But this is still her first time getting back with them. We didn't really deal with that because we don't have time. We got to
Right.
keep going. We got to do the Gambit plot.
I was told I had synced on the internet that apparently the comics, the X-Men 97 season 2 comics do a lot of the in-between work and filling
Mhm.
in those blanks, which I'm happy that they make that medium available. I have to catch up and read the ones from this season. I'm happy that they make that available for fans. Like, okay, we know that these episodes aren't covering everything, so we have a comic that you can also read, but don't that's extra work. I,
Yeah.
that's extra work. You, but apparently that is addressed where Jubilee does have more of a moment and more recognition that, yeah, this is her family that she totally thought was dead. And here they are alive. Because I was wondering that same thing.
It almost pisses me off that they do that because it's like, oh, so you know that you are missing these like plot beats in the show, so like push them into the comics. That
I
feels
feel and I hate it, but I wonder if that just gets boiled down to the executives and the people that are up top making the decisions. Because
yeah,
it still feels, even with the change in writing, I still feel that like this is a project that is very much being made by fans of the X-Men and is being
yeah,
made with love. So they're doing the best with just like a really crappy hand because what would they have to sacrifice? We're not going to get longer episodes at this point. So do they not have as many mutants come in? So do we see the
right.
same teams that we've seen for the past couple of decades that have always gotten the shine? Is going to be Cyclops and Wolverine and Storm and Jean, and that's just about all we can fit in. So I hate it so much, but it's like, who do I write the letter, the angry letter to? Who do I tweet directly to ask this question? Because I feel like the creators are on our side in this.
I mean, a really good example of that is fucking Wonder Man getting canceled, and even Kevin Feige wasn't even the one who canceled it, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
I assume maybe it's because Brad Winderbaum is the head of Marvel Television, so probably had to. If it wasn't Kevin Feige,
but wouldn't
unless it
Kevin
was,
Feige be above him? Like,
I mean, he would be, but also I guess they might maybe trying to keep things separate between the movies and the
hmm.
shows. I don't know.
I, I think
Unless it did come from Disney proper.
with a lot of especially the TV shows in general, like now, it almost feels like Disney themselves does not give a shit about the shows, and they're like, just dump them. We're not doing like the official trailer for this wasn't released until what, like June, and like, and I mean, Wonder Man and Ironheart got like no promo. Like it feels very much.
Neither did Oz of Wakanda.
I forget that show exists. I like keep forgetting about that show because I saw zero. The only time I saw about it was when I signed in Disney Plus, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" Um, yeah, and I mean, you know,
I
also
feel like
like
all we could do is point out a pattern. I don't know what those people are thinking. All
yes,
we know that it is mighty strange that the Princess Tiana series gets canceled. Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur got canceled.
Mhm.
Saturdays got canceled. That was another one that was all black female leads that went directly to Disney Plus. So I'm not saying what it is because I don't know, but I can spot a pattern because I have eyes.
I was gonna say, but people can use their eyes and they can't
Yeah.
pretend it's not a pattern. Like,
For some reason, they can't seem to make a Blade movie, but we're gonna get
That's
Ghost
so
Rider.
strange.
Yeah,
But we can get Ghost
yeah, we
Rider
can
in
get
there.
Ghost Rider. Armor Wars is no longer going to be a Rhodey movie. They're going to retool it for Tony Stark when he's rebooted. Like,
And let's just not treat Sam Wilson very well at all.
like
Let's just
give him like the most drab, boring ass like patchwork movie, and like,
With a
oh,
Red Hulk. When the fuck has Red Hulk and Sam Wilson With a
That made
red
me,
Hulk.
and he's in every fucking preview, but then it's a reveal at the end. Like, yeah, we knew this. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So we get the poker game. It's very cute. I like seeing them do this, and I wish we had gotten more of this season. It's cute seeing like, oh, Nightcrawler keeps winning poker. Sure, I like this. And when Beast is like, your other blue friend just beat you, that's cute. He quotes Jack London. And then X-Force comes in. I'm curious what you all think because I got a little annoyed. I don't love when Rogue is like, oh, we're not gonna be part of your assassin team. And I'm like, these guys killed a horseman of apocalypse and freed a bunch of kids. So I'm not sure where we're getting this aggression from.
I mean, Jubilee freed them, which it is a
True.
distinction only
That's
because
true.
if it had been up to the actual group, they would have left them
They would have
there.
left them there, yeah.
That's true. That's
Um,
true.
and I mean, I guess on some level I agree with you in terms of it's a apocalypse, it was a horseman of apocalypse, but there's this gray area of the fact that they still were a very shoot first, ask questions later kind of team, and how
True.
that then spirals into non-horsemen, characters who aren't making the decisions that they want. And I mean, the gambit of it all was to show like, there's an actual relationship there now with this character who's been taken over. And I mean, the character that was killed beforehand probably had relationships with people who were looking for him and, things like that. And it's like where I guess it all comes down, and that's really the whole point of X-Men really is like, where does that line get drawn? I mean, even with the most recent movie that is now has an X-Men in it, right? Is like people like, I don't know if I can forgive Jean Grey. And it's like, bitch, if my sister got kidnapped, I promise you, I'll show you a real fucking
Everybody
villain.
going down.
I'm
Okay,
tearing the
like
Everybody's
entire
going down.
world down. Oh my
Whoever's in
God.
my
There's
way,
no
I don't care.
question.
quite frankly, she had some restraint. I mean,
These people don't love their sisters. That's all I've learned from
I'm
this war.
like,
You don't
I'm
love your
like,
sisters.
and it's really just, it is showing that like sort of, people are not really ready for the gray area that is supposed to be mutant, that is supposed to
X-Men.
be
Yeah.
the X-Men, because I'm like, that reveal, everyone here saw Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, if you're listening and you haven't, my bad. But, it's like, but I say it just to like, I think it was to kind of draw in the fact that like now there's this like line because they know this horseman, but it also is showing Gambit doesn't mean anything to Cable. He
Yeah.
was someone that they met once, but that he don't mean nothing to Cable. Like he don't mean nothing to everyone else to Psylocke. So it's like we're seeing now what that tier,
That is true. He doesn't
relationship.
mean anything to
He
Psylocke. Like
don't
those
mean
people
nothing
that
to any of
like
them. And I mean, this also comes down my main critique of the X-Men is like for all I mean, I love the X-Men because they be jumping people, but also y'all too trusting. And it's
Yeah.
like, because why are you trusting these people to want to save Gambit? Like you gotta start asking yourself questions. What the fuck do you care?
True.
and Xavier even says something when he's like, the only way I'm gonna do this. And I was like, well, they're lying. Like, why are we just like, all right, you said okay, so I'm going to
And
believe you.
Charles, as a psychic, I feel like could have been able to read one of them. Maybe he couldn't
One.
get into into Cable's head, but they can't all block you.
Right.
Get into Angel's head.
Yeah,
Right.
you could definitely get into
I'm
Angel's head.
like, all right, so Psylocke and Cable off guard. What the fuck?
Right.
Useless.
But
Chuck is
also,
useless.
but also in many ways, it kind of shows somewhat of the hypocrisy of X Factor in the sense of like you literally have a former horseman on your team. Like,
Right.
so the fact that they are so shoot first, ask questions later, it's like you see that you're able to reverse horseman technology or power or mind control or
Yeah, whatever
whatever.
it is.
Why not try to do that with somebody else, with that horseman of war, or the fact that you even don't even think that you can do it with Gambit? Like, there's obviously a way.
Yeah, I do because an Angel says so many times, well, only if Rogue is around can we do it. And then but like now Rogue is here. Like
Right.
also we breeze by so much here when they get here. The build up to Apocalypse's body should have been like a crazy reveal for all of the X-Men, right? Like I felt like they played this cool music leading up to it when they showed the dead body and the like tube thing. And I was like, oh, this is cool. The X-Men are going to be like, so like, holy shit. And
Nope.
It's apparently a. And then I did like the scene of Jubilee being the one to tell Rogue because like that makes sense. She's her friend on the team. But then we also keep going. Like the scene we get later of Nightcrawler and Rogue I liked, and I was like, this is what we needed a little bit more of in this episode, of like Rogue kind of talking through, holy shit, he's back, but he's bad. Like this is awful. And yeah, it just feels like after that scene with her and Nightcrawler, we are we're breezing through everything that happens. Um, and I also liked the idea of them teaming up. I do like Tiffy, you mentioned there's so many characters, and it's hard for me to decide like, ooh, would I cut these? But I like having all the characters because that's X-Men, right? There's always a zillion of them. But it is you get a little lost in the mix. Like there was a point at the end of the episode, and I was like, "We're Polaris and Bishop."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I would. I'm like, am I dumb? Did I miss them or where it was mentioned where they were?
Think so.
But I don't think
And I think
during
that's
the
kind of
opening sequence.
the downside of not only having just one show, but
Yeah.
one show with only 9 episodes. Because also, kind of like you said, that moment of seeing Apocalypse's body before the reveal of of Apocalypse being, possessing Gambit. Like, how powerful would it have been if we have gotten a scene of like Xavier by himself, like confronting the body of Apocalypse, like, oh yeah, like even just going like spitting on the body, like you got what you deserve, like something of like a moment of like what's the word I'm trying to use? Like maybe closure, thinking that Apocalypse is gone, only to find out like, oh shit, like no, he's back. Like that'd have been a cool character moment, and then culminating to that final battle of him
Yes.
seeing like how hard he's fighting because we got that scene of thinking he was done, he was dead, he got his friend is avenged, only to find out it's not. But it's like, yeah, we don't have
His
time for
friend.
that, or like not seeing Polaris. Yeah, his friend, of course, we know they're lovers, but. But yeah, there's no Polaris. There's no, or even the kids. Like Kid Omega is an Omega level mutant. Why wouldn't he be in this fight?
Yeah, and then we just very quickly move, all of this was like, I couldn't believe this wasn't set up more. When Gambit, as Death, invites Belladonna and his brother and all of their like henchmen, and like, I didn't fucking remember his brother. I just said how much I love Gambit. I didn't remember he even had a brother, and I was like, who's that guy? Oh, it's his brother. Oh, now he's a horseman. Sure. Um, I that all felt like one of you mentioned earlier that like there's just I don't know how a casual fan like these are all very specific characters and like we are yep there they are that's their name and now they're a henchman for Death Gambit. I don't know it just like I was just
It, it, it,
it felt like oh okay right.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
even for
forcing.
me, the killing of Apocalypse former lover, like that was
Kendra,
what,
yeah,
30
I was gonna
seconds?
bring that up too.
That was 30 seconds.
It's,
It
and
was
she
funny
was
though because
built
she was talking too much. She was
Like she
monologuing.
was built
And
like
she
this
should have
real
gotten to the point.
badass who should, and I'm like, oh my God, she looked like she about to be a problem. Oh, oh
Yeah, what was
no.
that? What was that? Episode 3, right before Kang dipped. He was just like, "Nah, you got to stay because you're gonna be way more important to the storyline." Then later on, he says something external, only to be like, "Yeah, nah, we're gonna kill her in 30 seconds. Oh, bye. Okay, she's not important anymore." And
Like,
this is also something I say with regards to this show. I'm like, am I watching The Walking Dead or am I watching X-Men? Because it seems like every single episode a mutant dies. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Like episode 5, we see they killed Maggot, who's one of the rare black male mutants in comics. Like Magic dies in episode, what was it? Like
that was last
yeah,
episode.
last
I'm
episode,
like,
and Magic is not just some random run of the mill. Magic is a huge character, and so for her, like for them to like kill her, I was just like, what are we doing? Kendra dies in this episode. I'm like, what is going on?
I do feel like they are barreling towards Krakoa. I do feel like that's why they're like horror movie level killing people left and right because it's like, well, we can bring them all back once we get to Krakoa, but who knows when they'll get there or how long they'll even be there at this point. Like that'll be like one episode. They'll be moved to the island in one episode. It's destroyed by the end. um,
Yeah.
So yeah, Gambit quickly, even like the scene where he turns them, like I don't care, but there could have been a little bit more dialogue there. Like, this is my brother. This is my like ex-girlfriend. Weren't they like a thing for a long wasn't that like the love of his life
There
before
was an episode
Rose?
last season
Before
about
he
it, right?
joined.
Or did I rewatch
I
X-Men
think
92?
she might have been at the funeral, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe his brother was.
Because I don't
I
think
just
we've seen them. The last time we saw them was in the original 90s
Okay,
cartoon.
so that's the reason why I'm
yeah.
like, because I basically, all right, so I rewatched X-Men 92. Was like, wait, no, I definitely remember an episode where
Because
he reunites with them, but that might have been a whole technically other show. And yeah.
I
Oh,
used to use all my Star Trek action figures as the other X-Men that didn't have figures, and I definitely used like one of the blue suit ladies as Belladonna when I played with my X-Men toys.
okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah, I mean, I it's crazy because what when we got the big death of the season, which was Magneto, I was
Yeah.
like, very excited, obviously saddened too, but excited because I was like, oh, this is gonna be a
Yeah.
no holds barred season. Like they're going there. They said, don't get attached to nobody, bitch. I was like, oh. But we went from, the point of a death like that is like I feel like it's supposed to be an overarch. I mean, I feel like Gambit's death was more of a theme over how the
Yeah.
X-Men moved than Magneto's was this season. Because it's like we went from that to bada boom, bada bing, bada to all these, different. It's like to Michael's point of like Eliana is a big deal. I don't get to mourn her because you showed me her for 2 seconds and then you got rid of her 2 seconds later after that, and then we were moving on to a whole other storyline. And so it's like. I don't know what it is that it starts to feel like offshoot episodes of like random things that are just happening
Hmm.
to mutants instead of this cohesive story of mutants that I care about and what is happening with them, if that makes sense. And so it's just like I don't even get to sit with how Magneto's death is affecting everyone because even like the group that we saw last episode was supposed to be a branch of following behind Magneto's like, his philosophy. And we don't get to sit with that because the leader of that group dies by the end of the
Dies.
episode
Yeah.
too. So it's just like I don't get to sit with anything and what is happening with the different factions of what is supposed to be this oppressed group. I don't know really how to feel, and that's
Yeah.
supposed to be the whole point of this is that maybe there is no correct side. I can disagree with what the Brotherhood of Mutants or what the Brotherhood feels because even though they're going about it wrong, I understand where they're coming from. I don't exactly want to sit and eat lunch with people who are killing off my people either. But at the same time, obviously I see why the X-Men are going about it the way that they are, but also they pissing me off because they're trying to bargain for their freedom. And I'm like, fuck that. We got somebody who literally controls the weather. Tell her start a tornado. So it's like I don't get to sit with anything because before we even really get to start, and maybe that's also the Disney of it all. They don't ever like to get too
Mm-mm.
political with shit that might
I can't
actually
believe what
start to.
they're allowed to do in this even.
Yeah, like we got somebody with a red hat last episode. Like, oh God, did they know that that was in there? Did they not put two and two together? Did they
Right.
not know until the meme started circulating? Might take that shit out when
They're gonna they're gonna
Black
color they're gonna color grade it.
Right, exactly. You have to look up that shit gonna be gray, and they about to get like they're gonna be a psyop. It was never red. So, but yeah, it's just like I don't know what the theme of this season
Yeah.
is. Like last season, I understood it to an extent. It's like
Uh-huh.
Magneto was now running the X-Men, but we understood his philosophy, disagreed with that of the X-Men. He was trying to make it match that of the X-Men because Charles was no longer around. And when the shit went down in Genosha, it was like, and this is why I say we killed them all. Fuck this. It was like, it was in a evolving theme, and I sat with it. I
And think
do
about
not
after
know.
that episode, we got a funeral episode so we could sit
Right.
with it. Like that whole episode is about Rogue's grief, and she's like punching her way through the army and shit. And like her and Nightcrawler have that moment. We get the funeral. Like we were able to sit with the moments while still moving the plot. Like it wasn't like it stalled dead. But yeah, and like even so, we get the scene before they're kind of like going of like Cyclops and Jean and Cable. It felt so nothing. I don't know. I wanted a little more of that too because, like you said, Tiffy, the Cable isn't shouldn't be 100% with them, right? It's like,
Right.
did we make up? I don't know that we did. And then like, is this, as we mentioned before, is this the first time Cable is seeing them since they've been back?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like that should have been a
Yeah, because that's
reunion.
the first time they have a chance to ask, like, why did you never tell us that, we've run
Yeah.
into each other before? They had a chance to ask that question. And he says, because time would have just ripped us. So you're right. There's no time to sit with anything. Cable hasn't even had time to sit with the fact that his parents are back in his life this way because it's constantly, he's about the mission. He has to stop Apocalypse. Like that's the only thing that he has eyes for.
And I do like the idea that the reason he has those eyes for Apocalypse is because of Scott and Jean going to the future and kind of helping raise him. There's like something there that's interesting that we could explore that we're just not. But I do like the idea of like he is dead set on like I just kill Apocalypse. That's all I care about. My parents that are here, but were there when I was a kid. Like they instilled in me that like I needed to stop Apocalypse, and that has been my life's mission. Like I do think there is something. There's a little. There's something to explore there, and we just don't.
And
Because
also
very
with that,
quickly. Oh yeah, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say, and also with that, like this moment between Jean, Cyclops, and Nathan really kind of made me think to myself, like, yeah, we didn't really get that much from Cyclops and Jean or Storm, any like from this season. Like, yeah, Storm had her big moment in episode 1 or 2 when she summoned summoned the cosmic storm. See, like Storm could only get the one big moment in the beginning, and then she gets forgotten about the rest of the season. And that's also a big problem like with introducing all of these characters. Like you see a Frenzy, you see a Tempo, you see Exodus, you see Polaris, you see all these other characters, but then the other characters that the original X-Men that we set, Cyclops, Jean, Storm, Morph, all of the like Morph story. Where's his storyline? He don't really get one. Like, obviously, you could say episode 5, but it was really a Wolverine storyline.
Right. Not his situation should be in his
Yeah, his
storyline,
situation.
pal.
Yeah, like,
I'd lose it. Like, oh God,
I'm
Wait,
like,
there's
at
a
least let him get a three-way with with Sabretooth and Wolverine. Like,
please.
granted,
I
toxic,
think
not for a long time, just one night.
Fuck a
I think it's
three-way.
I
I'd
think
take
it's
Sabretooth. That's by himself, but whatever.
I think it's interesting because I see the discourse and I love Storm more than any other X-Men. But I don't think that she's being sidelined. I think that it really does, like, I think it does fall in under that category of there are too many, not even cooks in the kitchen. There's too many ingredients in this particular gumbo. There's just so much going on that you cannot give everybody shine. And we got so much from Storm last season. We took her through 3 different hairstyle iterations. They put her in that hot girl Mumu Abaya this one, and I was okay with it. I'm not so quick to jump on, oh, they're sidelining Storm, they're doing this. It's no. No, nah, because to me, I'm looking at it as a comic. We don't get a whole lot of solo moments if we're reading an X-Men run. We have to go pick up Storm's solo comic if we really want to see a whole lot of her. And that's just how I kind of view it. Like, I'm not a big fan of the whole, oh, they're doing us wrong by this character, as opposed to they're trying to fit in so much. We got some things from this character, but we're not going to be able to have everybody be at the mic, essentially.
I do
That's just my take.
I do think I not to not stay in my lane, but I do kind of agree with you. I do think with a lot of these characters that happens because there's just so many, and like especially this season, we're adding 2 extra teams. There's just so many characters that like Jubilee, Rogue, Gambit, and Storm are like my favorites, and like
Hmm.
my at least Jubilee and Storm had like a moment. They got like their one moment. We haven't seen them a lot, but I did want to read. This is what I think of what in relation to Storm. This is from Threads. Someone posted like X-Men 97 expects me to forget that Storm harnessed the power of the sun, and someone named Tither Ty the robot replied, she stacked up 3 wigs, grabbed her business casual, and clocked out for the season. And I always think of that with Storm. Like just like I'm good, I'm gonna clock out.
I mean, also the thing with Storm is just that she is, I don't say overpowered as an insult. I feel like because of her powers, they always get very iffy on how to use her.
Her and
I
G, yeah.
almost wish they'd bring back the claustrophobic storyline because with X-Men 92, I feel like that allowed them some leeway with her in terms of like, how do we make it so that Storm doesn't come in, just create a fucking hurricane and wash everybody away. But then, of course, I also don't want them to do that storyline again in terms of having done it to death. And then also, ironically, she's kind of happy, right? She's headmistress. Her
Chef
man is
Large.
there. And I think in the voice of Marvel, once you have a happy storyline, they don't really know what to. Only miserable folks over here. We can't allow too much of a. But right now, I'm not gonna say happy. Like in like this is obviously not where her story ends. But like for the most part, right now, it's like we're good. My man is
Yeah.
here. I got a 401k with my job. Uh, I don't know what y'all got going over there, but let me know, I guess, if y'all get stuck in a spot. I'll come on down.
Shoot
But
me a text, but I'll be here.
She was quick to say, "Fuck the rules. Our team needs us, though. We're rolling out."
yeah.
What is a Colossus got the kids? Because before it was the X-Men couldn't get involved with things because X Factor and Val Cooper were going to shut them down, and
Hmm.
that was the big threat when Xavier was making decisions. He broke off and made X Corps, and I feel like Storm was just like, "Nah, fuck it." Colossus, you got the school. Everyone else, suit up. We're going. Like, and that's one thing I liked about Storm because she was just like, my family needs me.
Yeah.
Fuck everything else. So I do appreciate that energy. I do think that they did have to nerf a lot of characters because I was thinking about this earlier today. A lot of people would be able to wrap this shit up real quickly if they were what we know them to be. But then I feel like we wouldn't have an episode
Yeah.
because if Storm would come in and just wipe everyone away, there's nothing to do after that. If they had Jean be able to stop the jet, even though
Yep.
the whole discourse there is she's an Omega, but she's an Omega telepath, not an Omega telekinetic. She's not as powerful as she should be at the end of the day. And I think they had to do that to, goddamn, what's his name? Not Oedipus. I just saw Odysseus. What is his name? Exodus. A
Exodus.
bullet.
Yeah.
They surprised him with a bullet. So yeah, I feel like across the board they're just depowering the mutants because
And
Just
it is,
otherwise
randomly
we
kill it.
just
Like
wouldn't have
Exodus should not be dead. He should not be dead.
like that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't
And
and
you
make
you
got him
are,
sense.
for 20 fucking minutes, if that much. Like, bro, like these are
because
not irrelevant. Or like if you're gonna do this, at least bring in like the C level characters who
Yeah,
like
like
we like.
that random guy they killed in episode 5 that died in the plane crash. Nobody
Yeah,
gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck.
no one
So that's
cares.
fine. But characters like Magic, Exodus, like, what are you
And
doing?
I don't
What are you
like how we're
doing?
using these characters to move other stories along. You kill Magic so that you have a storyline for
Colossus. Yeah.
yeah,
Colossus.
I'm like, bro,
It was
it's
just to
Magic. What do
make
we do?
sad.
Which they
I
could have still did that. They could have did that same storyline if maybe he thought she died. And
I don't
only to
know.
find
Absolutely.
out later on, oh, hey, I'm right
Like,
here.
even if you had done like a we can't find her sort of thing, and so this like obviously if you've been looking for somebody for several days at a certain point, you have to be like, she's gone. Like, I don't know, we could have done something like that so that there could be a mystery around it and we won't be shocked if they pull her back in. And I know it's X-Men at the end of the day. Like,
So
obviously,
yeah.
even this episode showed like nobody's dead forever. There's always a storyline to bring somebody back, but it's still like, come on, man. Like you're going back to back to back. Like
I
yeah.
know it's not
And
this
that's
episode, but with Magique, the thing that really pissed me off was that she's just like and just
Yeah,
stands there.
what are you looking at? What
yeah,
are
what are you
you
looking
looking
at?
at?
Yeah. Like what like why what like move.
Yeah.
Move, bitch. Go to the other dimension real quick if you need to. Like disappear.
The
But it's
time
like,
that she
yeah,
took the look is the time that because she could teleport instantaneously.
Yes.
Like
and Ian, it's like you said, I a whole Pisces felt nothing in that moment because I was like, all right, bitch, I'll see you in Krakoa. Because
Right.
clearly the
Yes.
way that they're just taking these people out, I'll see you in season 4, I guess, because there's no way. There's no way.
and it's
And
like in
like,
some ways, because they're killing people off so unceremoniously and so quickly, it almost kind of feels like you're bathing in the bathwater that was already washed, and like reheating
yeah.
somebody's nachos in the sense of like, because we got the big death of Gambit, we knew that wasn't going to last. We got this Magneto is one of the biggest, most prominent of X-Men. Like if you ask a random person on the street, they know who Magneto is,
Right.
so we know Magneto's not going to stay dead or whatever. Like. So we're doing these things all over again. Oh, we're going to kill Gambit. We're going to bring him back. We're going to kill Magneto. We're going to bring him back. Magic. We're probably not going to have Magic stay dead. We're going to bring it. And I get it happens in the comics all the time.
Yeah.
But like, that's because the comics have to continue. Like, X-Men are going to exist long after we're dead in the ground.
We're getting
But
more
like,
more issues of X-Men a year than we are this cartoon. So
yeah,
like,
but this show is not going to exist that long. So it's like you can't do that. Like all these characters can die and come back. So it's like it doesn't like the weight just doesn't feel as emotional if we're going to keep doing the same thing all over again. We're just going to kill a character just to bring them back.
But
but
what
so,
if they don't bring them back? What if we're making assumptions
I
because we know what happens in the comics and they because you just said it, the show is going to end at some point. What if these characters don't come back and we've just been like, whatever, we've been not mourning them, thinking that we're gonna see them again, and that was the
That
last
could
time,
be
and we didn't even say goodbye.
That could be true, but I'm like Magic, all these other characters. But I'm like Magneto. Though I don't think they're gonna.
What if? And that way they don't have to confront the messy things about having Magneto as a true anti-hero. What if I don't know. Are they bold enough to revisit that again? It was rocky enough the first time. He gave up that psychopath, liar, all that speech. I was surprised that Disney let that slide, to be perfectly honest. The
same.
first time.
I same. This I feel like the like wokeness of X-Men isn't even like that wild, but I'm still surprised that Disney lets them do it, right? Like
I would not be surprised if they let Magneto stay dead. I'd be very sad. I don't see the benefit of that, but what a surprise that would be if we're just like the X-Men come back. They always come back. What if they don't come back?
yeah. That I mean, and that would be the bigger surprise, right?
I guess it would just make me upset then that we didn't get the payoff in terms of the
Yeah.
emotional
Yeah.
Yeah.
tie-in.
Yeah.
Like we did with Magneto, because he was around for more than just
Yes.
20 seconds.
Yes.
Right.
Like I'd probably be more okay with him not coming back in that regard, just because it was like they made sure we had to sit with his death, at least to some extent, even though even then I
Right.
still feel like we should have had more of a moment than other than just Charles mourning him, because like
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, like for all the critiques of him, Magneto had a good amount of followers because,
Mm,
beyond the X-Men of it all, he did. It wasn't just Charles who loved him. There was a reason
Right.
why you never saw Magneto pull up by himself. Um,
mm.
so it's like even then, I guess I would have my critiques of if this is the final nail in the coffin, like, damn, that's crazy. Like you didn't really let us sit with it.
Yeah.
Um, but then if that applies for these characters who we've gotten to see all of 2 seconds of, basically, like that's crazy because magic means more to people than just Colossus. And the only relationship we've established, and barely that, was with Colossus. Because so
It was so weird. We didn't even know that they were there in Genosha at the time because they just did this random flashback. And it's like, oh, they were there too, I guess. All right.
it's like, and that makes me even more frustrated. It's like, so you had this opportunity to like establish these really iconic characters during the scene that was already so emotional.
Right.
Mm.
And
Right.
then
And
you just season 2 came and you were like, oh, you know what? Let's just have this as a background scene that was happening while Gambit was getting got. And yeah, it's like
And
crazy.
speaking of
because
depower, like the fact that Magic has her soul sword, that means she's Darkchild.
yes,
She could have took out that Sentinel by her fucking self. Like,
that's what really pissed me off about that, because it's like, okay, if she didn't have that, sure, then we know like she comes back, she gets the huge ass sword, she gets the bionic arm, but she already had that shit. And but so hearing you all talk about this, I actually was thinking of the way they could use Genosha, the way Marvel for a minute used it but did not, the blip, the way like Monica and Yelena got really good, like, oh, I came back from the blip and like my family was dead, and like how that shit affected them in the long term. But then Marvel kind of dropped it and we don't hear them talk about it. Genosha could be like that, where we're seeing characters that are like, yeah, my family was there, my siblings were there, but we need to like give it the emotional weight, not just like Ilyana for some reason pauses and looks at her brother and dies. Ugh. But speaking of pausing and emotional beats, we get the battle on the ship. I do like the moment of all the telepaths of like Jean, Psylocke, and Cable. Even though Tiffy, you're right, and I did think that I was like, Jean could do this by herself. For the purposes of the cartoon, it's like, yeah, they all gotta work together. I liked that shit. I liked seeing them do this. the other Gambits, I guess we call them horsemen, invade the ship, and we get the Gambit and Rogue reunion, and it's so quick. But even that was good. Like that, I'm always gonna feel bad for my girl Rogue, and she's one of my favorites. And I don't know, I'm always in my like angsty emo era, so I like that shit. And I liked that she kind of forgot they were fighting them, which made sense, right? This is the man she loves so much, and she like when she touched him and there was nothing happened, it was like, oh shit. Ugh. Um, but I do like the fact that even as Death, he cares about Rogue. I like the idea that he doesn't give a shit about the rest of the X-Men. He's like, their plane can crash. Let me get Rogue though. And I like having that beat still there that he's like, well, no. I want to marry her. I'm evil and I'm going to kill my friends, but like, I care about her.
Honestly, thought she was going to get got because I thought he was going to be like, yeah, you was kissing up on Magneto.
I
I
did.
thought he was gonna bring that up too.
I did too. I
Because
was
she
That's a
really
good
did
man.
kiss him in front of
That's a man that loves her down. She broke up with him. She said, I see the future with you and it's not for me. I'm gonna go get with my old jump off that might have groomed me a little. I'm so sorry. Also, stay right there. We're gonna dance up in the sky so
Everybody
actually
can see.
everyone
Yeah.
can see us. Watch that. And then he died and came back still loving her. Rogue got the sauce. I'm so sorry. That's her new power. Because what do you mean? He came back and his only thing was, what did he say? I ain't drag myself out the grave to repeat mistakes. He loves her so bad.
That was a good Gambit impersonation, by the way. But yeah, no, he does, and like, I don't know. I feel like that's like baby me that it like imprinted something in my brain where I was like, I want a man to love me the way Gambit loves Rogue.
And I would fold. I would fold just like she did. Because you're just like, Rogue, do something. You're falling for the. Yeah, I would fall for the trap too. I'd be up there in my little black gothic wedding dress in the cemetery, swamp bayou, or wherever the fuck they were to do a ceremony. I would watch him snatch that crystal gem out that lady chest because she was talking too much and then shut him out. I'd be like, yes, daddy. I've been waiting for you to come back.
I will say though, like at a certain point though, I thought Rogue would have snapped out of it. Like when she started fighting the X-Men, or like killed Kendra, and she's just like, Remy, no. It's like,
What did
like
Kendra ever do to her? What she ever do for her? Why I gotta care about Kendra?
That's not my friend, so.
I don't do her.
with the X-Men were like when Nightcrawler was bitch slapping them all, like
That was crazy.
That was a part where I was
which
like,
I love that scene. That also goes to show, like, you don't need to be Omega to be dangerous. I was like, damn.
I love Nightcrawler. I mean, I love all of them so much, but I was really happy to see that. But the one thing I was surprised that Rogue didn't seem as upset about her brother, Nightcrawler. Like she was like, "Oh, what'd he do to you?" And then she's just fine. And we're like, "Well, we're moving. Just keep going. We're gonna have dinner." And that was the only time when I was like, "Well, she should be a little bit more upset about that." But
Right.
again, we
Like
just didn't have time for it.
your brother's under mind control. I feel like that should be a whole like the rogue that we've seen so far. Like, you let my brother go down. Like, I
Yeah.
was expecting it just a little bit more like
He was clearly alive and breathing. He's fine.
all that matters.
Fine.
Tiffy, you are out of it. Like, nope. Let her go with him.
Good. Did he hurt you? Okay. Where is he? Dinner. What does he want me to wear? Got it. Like, no.
Oh, he got a cute dress. Oh, all right. Because I do I like all of this, and I liked him. Like you said, the crawled out of my grave line is really good, and I can appreciate. Again, we just didn't have enough time, but I do appreciate that she's kind of like, oh well, it is Gambit, it is Remy, and like seems to be. I needed to see a little bit more inner turmoil with her because I didn't understand how we got from like dinner to then the wedding scene, and I was like, oh, all right. I also didn't quite get the Apocalypse Conjure of it all.
The Conjure?
Isn't it she Conjure? External.
Oh, I thought you said conjure, like they conjured. I was
My Jersey
"Wait,
accent.
But oh yeah, I guess just to show the origin of that gem. And to me, I was like, so did Apocalypse remember way back in 3000 AD or BC or whatever? It's like, oh yeah, that bitch Rogue told me that love was worth it. I got something for her ass, because then goes and possesses the body of her lover. That was
Yeah.
in my mind what happened. She told me love was worth it. Oh, I can't wait to see her again.
'Cause I wish they dealt with that more. Like one of the last conversations Apocalypse had was with Rogue,
Yeah.
and they don't even touch on that.
Yeah, it was just in the flashback of like the recap at the
Yeah.
beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
It was just like a, which I don't even think they did the proper like link between that conversation of between Rogue and Apocalypse, and that should have been more of a foreshadow. Like it technically was foreshadowing, but it should have been more of a connection to show it's a foreshadowing that Apocalypse is taking over Gambit and not just bringing him
Yeah.
back because of
Because that's
this.
one thing we don't know. Like how much of Horseman Gambit is Gambit, and how
Yeah.
much is Apocalypse.
Okay, that was going to be my question to ask all y'all, because I'm still a little unsure of that. Because at first I was like, oh, he's totally Apocalypse, but then no, because he wanted Rogue. Like Apocalypse wouldn't want to marry Rogue. He doesn't care. Um, and but then it was clearly Gambit. Like he was acting like Gambit. He wasn't acting like Apocalypse. So is Apocalypse just kind of like hiding out in his brain? We're like waiting to come out. Everyone's faces. Yes, that's. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
Well, I think that that's what they told us directly in this episode at the very end when Gambit is asleep. He says, I think that he says, like, yeah, wait, hold on. I took notes as was requested before the episode. Yeah. Beast is the one that says that Apocalypse is still in Remy. So the assumption is that so long as Remy is unconscious, because we saw Apocalypse go back into
Yeah.
Remy even after Rogue pulled him out, which I do know that we didn't get a whole lot of emotional beats. So maybe I'm just building on something that's not really there because I'm a Pisces and I do like to cry. But the moment you're Pisces too, the moment
No. I like to cry too. I'm.
I'm a Pisces. You're not alone. I'm here.
Okay, cool. But when Rogue showed up, when Gambit was reaching out of like Horseman Gambit's body and was like, Professor, help me. Like that part, I was tearing up. I was screaming at that point. And then he gets sucked back in. But then Rogue appears and she goes to go get her man. That part did make me very emotional. So I know that
Yes.
they missed a lot of the emotional beats, but something about him being in there and her reaching in to go snatch her man back from the hands of death. I really fuck with that moment heavy.
That was the moment that got me with emotional. Like emotionally, I was like, okay, I'm tearing up. All right, I'll tear up at this.
We talk a lot about media, or there's a lot of discourse about media having to dumb down these days because people don't have as great attention spans, or the media literacy isn't there, so things have to be spelled out exactly. Do you think that X-Men, just in this conversation, I'm just like, do you think that they've done the opposite where they're like, you got to keep up. I'm going to give you one line of context and I'm going to need you to rub them brain cells together to put them, because we got things to do. And it's almost a compliment in a way. You got to be a certain level of intelligence to watch X-Men 97, I think, at the end of the day. Yes, they are moving mad fast, but it's not, I think it's a test of intelligence, and that's how I would PR spin this season.
Because okay, but lawyer.
I can't help it, but because when we're talking about it, I'm like, it's so fast, it's there, but it will be one line. Like going all the way back to the Wolverine reference, he says one thing. He says, I didn't get these claws back just to sit on the side and watch Jean and them die. And that's the only reference to it. And if you miss that one line because you're not on your phone or you're not locked in for whatever reason, you might not put that together. And so it just as a quick aside, sorry for like the side journey, I just wonder if they're relying on us to be intelligent as an audience because they're moving so fast.
I mean, I like the idea of that. Because I do think, I know we have all experienced this. There's so many dipshits that are like, oh, they made it woke. And it's like, you people, what do you mean they made it woke? And like,
The X-Men.
Right. Like, my conservative dad was like, well, I was like telling him about that. And he was like, haven't the X-Men always been like a symbolism for people? And I was like, yes, even you know that. Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, no, I could see that because those people like do not get it at all and don't seem to understand anything that's going on. So maybe we could. I like the idea of that. I don't know that that's the intention, but I like that. I
I
like
don't know
to
if it
like.
was intentional,
You guys are
but
smart.
we could be a little
We'll run
lazier
with it.
because you all guys are
We'll run
really
with it.
smart.
Ashley and I are trying to make the world better through media literacy. We both teach and
I
always
just
talk
be
about
cussing
pop
people out in
culture.
my videos. That's all I got for the
Yeah,
conversation.
same.
I use a video in one of my classes. I forget the woman's channel, but at the end I like use it every semester, and I only last semester, I don't know if my friend, she's been on the podcast a lot, Princess Weeks, she wrote the video, and I was like, oh my god, Princess, I teach one of your videos. And she was like, wait, really? I was like, yeah, I didn't even realize it was you wrote it till I like watched the credits this semester. And that was kind of cool to be like, oh, my friend wrote this. But yeah, so Chandra dies very quickly, sure. And Rogue, the X-Men come in, and I like seeing all the fights. Michael, you mentioned Nightcrawler. It reminded me of X2, which I still think is a really good superhero. Like it's still a favorite of mine. Especially that opening with Nightcrawler. It's so cool. And I liked that Storm and the rest of them arrive and we get our like hero moment. I am curious because I do feel like at this point now we've seen every scene from the trailer. So I am like, like everything but Siren, because Siren's on X Factor, I guess next episode, because they showed her in the preview. Um, but yeah, I feel, and Hammy said this in our first episode, that he feels like the X-Men action scenes in the show are written, and that's why they feel so good. Like it doesn't feel like, and then the characters fight. It's like the
Mm,
character does this, this one does this one does this, and like the Nightcrawler fight is a really good example with Morph turning into, I don't even remember what that guy's name is, one of the Shi'ar Imperial
yeah.
Guard dudes with the weird
Yeah.
crusty skin. Um, like that does feel like that's probably written in the script. Morph turns into that little guy from the Shi'ar Empire, and I don't know. I like all their fights more so than I like a lot of other fights. I liked Xavier in his. I like that he's got one outfit for the astral plane, and he's like puts it on every time he goes in with his little like weird knight armor.
The night
Um,
armor. Yeah.
yeah, I like that. Also, I saw people saying Apocalypse basically calls Xavier the F slur. He's like, I murdered your man.
Your beloved Magnus.
Yes. I mean, he kind of did. I feel like Apocalypse is picking up on it. He's not stupid. He's just evil. He's not stupid. Yeah, I liked this. Tiffy, I agree with you. This is the part where I was like, okay, this emotional beat is landing because it went on a little bit longer. Xavier is trying to save him, and you know, sometimes I do forget, like, oh, of course, all of them kind of do love Xavier because he's like the dad, right? He's like their dad. Even if they feel XYZ about him, he's kind of like their dad. So it was like nice to get that, but then I was glad Rogue came in because that makes more sense that she would be able to like pull him out. Um, yeah, and it all happens fairly quickly, but I was really glad that Rogue showed up. Um, I also didn't quite understand how she showed up.
I didn't because I went back and rewatched because I'm like, did
Yeah.
they weren't touching.
Uh-uh.
So
It's the power of love, Michael.
okay.
You're not believing in the power of love. Your mind's not open and your heart's not ready. I don't know what
Oh
to
well,
tell
I'll
you.
accept that. That's like
You ain't love nobody like Rogue love Remy. That's what I learned.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, why didn't they just it would just solve everything if they just show like a fingertip, like they're touching tips.
That's the tips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
touch
But
just the tip. Like
I think it is supposed to be like the power of love because they're like kind of close. Because remember, their fingers are like doing a little thing like this. Um, Ashley, what do you think?
Same. I was confused by it. Like I thought that they were teasing it to show us that she wasn't going to be able to save the day,
Mm.
almost like even though she wanted to or something. And then we randomly see her. Um, and I mean, like it was, of course I love the scene, but like to Michael's point of like we just need a little spark. That's all Rogue needs. And every, would have answered all the questions. And I guess they decided to go with this idea of there being some power between the two of them that's bigger than their actual powers or something like that. So I don't know. But in terms of, I did love that scene just because like to the point of what we've been saying all episode, like the entire podcast of like um all these moments are just so quick with it. And that was one thing we actually got to see build up in terms
Yeah.
of, Rogue's emotions being tied into this. I mean, like she really didn't even fight back, if we're gonna be for real, even when it came down to like Gambit sort of like kidnap. I mean, I know it happened really fast, but like Rogue's a bit more quick-witted with that, especially with the fact that she
Yes.
very rarely trusts people enough to even get that close to begin with. And obviously that's suspended because of who it is. So it's like at least there was some build up there to like get us to this emotional part of the her pulling Gambit out of it all. I do wish it was better explained what this power is that's happening between Apocalypse and Gambit here right now. Because it's like we know his body, he's not in his body, he's in Gambit's. They sort of, when the episode started, wanted us obviously to purposely make it look like Gambit just had this crazy power to be able to overtake Apocalypse and run on his own. But it's like I'd like to have a better understanding. I don't know, maybe they will actually drive this point home next episode. But it's like I would like to be able to understand because I'm like, we did see the last time we saw Apocalypse was in the past when he was like, I'm gonna have to go to 97 to stop
Yeah.
X-Men. So like I'm guessing that this is all a part of that, but I still don't know what's happening here and how Gambit plays into that because it's just like there's
Right.
different ways to go up. Yeah.
Right. Like once again, I'm unclear what we're leading towards, right?
Yes. Yes. Like
'Cause-
I guess that's just, and I'm like, maybe I'm gonna say where we at with the story in terms of Rogue and Gambit. I obviously, I really, really am enjoying that
yeah.
part because it's the only thing that I feel has had some level of a payoff. But Gambit still technically isn't himself. So, I mean, I guess, and this is just us leading to the last episode and the next episode and what that's going to mean. But it's just like, what is happening here? Because the only buildup we have at the end for real is that X Factor and X Force are joining together, and obviously they're going after the X-Men. But what about Gambit? Like,
Right.
is he just
Right.
he just gonna be sitting there in a coma while they're fighting downstairs? Like, what's going on? So,
I did I do like the idea of Cable at odds with Jean and Scott. Like I almost I mean I say what I've been saying though, I wish we got a little more of that because I would like to see that. Because I did like Cable just kind of like throws his gun when he's like mad, and I was like, this is
Ugh,
like
phooey.
yeah. But Ashley, you brought it up. So Val Cooper's Mystique, right? That's what we're getting at. Wasn't that entrance a Mystique entrance when she's coming out of the shadows?
I don't know for sure. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know. What are we doing? That's really what my I don't know. Where are we going with this? It could be. I mean, she's also just like, if it's not Mystique, she's confusing me because I'm just like, are you joining with them to take down
Right, yes.
um, like yeah, so it's like
Because that
even
tower card, I was like, is that supposed to be X Corp? I don't know.
so it's just like I don't. And then it's also just like if that is the case, we just had Creed last episode, right? And that's your kid against your other kid, and then your adopted daughter. So it's also like if that is Mystique, I don't know where she would. I do know where she would play. I don't know where she would play in terms of using X um X Force specifically. Excuse me, X
Yeah.
Factor here specifically. That's where I would get confused. So I'm like, if that is her, what was the purpose? Um,
Because Rogue is like her
but I
only
mean,
child she likes, right? Isn't like Rogue
yeah,
her?
basically,
Yeah,
which is
basically.
crazy to me because I'm
My last note that I have for the episode is fuck Val Cooper, but she got that shit on.
I like that outfit. I like that outfit.
And it's so wild to me that she's even wearing it. Like, why are you wearing the X? You move so shady. I don't think that she should be allowed to wear the X. Like, you ain't even on the team. You're not even out there in the field, but you're wearing the X. It does not sit right with me, but you got that shit on.
It's and like the like cute white sneakers with the yellow socks. I'm like, oh damn it, I love this
The
outfit.
sneakers that I need them to go ahead and release because they're kind of cute.
It really is like I hate her, but I love this fucking outfit.
I was gonna say, speaking of X Force, like, or X Factor, like, it would have been nice. Like, yeah, we had the Polaris episode, but like, if we got more of their perspective, more or less,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
why is Alex doing this? Why is Strong Guy doing this? Wolfsbane, like, what is their motivation behind being part of X Factor? And like, what is Val trying to accomplish? Especially since she keeps saying I'm friend, Charles, I'm
Yeah.
your friend, and all like, I would like to have seen that built up
And
more.
I've said this a bunch of season. I do think it tracks if she's not Mystique that there is this like asshole politician who's like, oh no, I love the X-Men. Oh no, I was working with Bastion the whole time. I saw the genocide happen. I feel so bad, but now I'm gonna go back to working with the bad guys and like censoring these. That does track for an American politician to be
Mhm.
like, oh, I saw the light. Oh, well, let's go back to the way it was before. I don't care. But character wise in a story, I'm like, what are we doing? So that's and that entrance felt like Mystique, and I only know this because I like read all the Easter egg shit after Polaris's episode, which was two episodes ago. The cat she pets in Val's office is from Ultimate X-Men, and it was Mystique as a cat, right? So like, I mean, it could have just been them like throwing it in as whatever, but the
Yeah, like
cat
a little
had
Easter
the
egg.
the diamond on its forehead,
Mhm.
so I don't know. Like maybe it's sometimes Mystique.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
this is what I mean in terms of like, I think, and I believe, you're the one who brought it in terms of like the big bad of because it's like
Yeah.
Apocalypse was built to be the big bad of this season. And so if you bring in, I'm not against it, obviously, but it's just like, oh, now we have Mystique. Okay. So what are we doing about Apocalypse? Or is that like getting sidelined to take care of Mystique? Like, or like what's
Like, is that
happening?
next season?
Right. It's like, because that's like, that seems like a big deal, like he's technically back and he's in your lover best friend's body. I don't know. That would be like my first priority. I'd be like, listen, Mystique, we got a lot going on at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can,
Yeah,
I don't know if you can come back next
chill,
week.
chill for a moment. Yeah,
Yeah, like,
Hold
can we
up.
take a rain check? Like, please. This is not the time.
I know you're like doing your thing over here, but let's wait till next year to do the thing. It would be a cool reveal. That would be a like cool reveal at the very end. Like the last episode, the end is like, oop, it was Mystique. But yeah, I mean, I did love all the crossovers. I mean, I feel like in the 90s, every crossover with the X-Men was like all of them fighting. So I do kind of like that maybe that's what we're leading towards, like X Factor and X Force teaming up versus the X-Men, but I feel like X Force would eventually side with the X-Men over X Factor. And like, I do like that. What was it? Executioner's song where they all are like ready to kill each other. I loved that as a kid. Like, I thought that was the fucking coolest. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. I'm so curious where we're going. Anyone else have any closing thoughts before we get to our exit stuff? Great.
Is next episode the last episode?
Yep.
It's
that
nine
is the
episodes,
last
right?
episode. Yeah,
Okay.
and for Gambit to be in a coma in the bed, I'm like, for him to be in this full armor outfit and under the covers, I'm like,
They didn't take his
Damn.
jacket off like
yeah,
that got me.
Like they said, we're gonna sweat Apocalypse out. Don't worry. We're going
uh, all right. Well, now that we're at the end, today we have a very special guest. She is the voice of Polaris herself.
Carolina Ravassa.
Hello. Carolina, the first thing I have to ask you, are you a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan by any chance?
I'm not, but maybe I should become one. Tell me more. Why?
Because so Polaris for me has been very Eliza Dushku on the show played the other Vampire Slayer, Faith.
Okay.
And I was like, maybe it's just because like Buffy's always on my brain.
Yeah.
And then I posted about it, and so many people were like, oh my God, I thought the same thing. A couple of people were even like, I actually thought for a second it was Eliza Dushku voicing her.
The
first.
voice. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
I don't know if you like can recognize her voice or anything, but it's a compliment because she's a badass.
Dushku. I'm looking her up as we speak. Oh, cool. No, I don't. I'm gonna now pay attention. I have no idea. Awesome. I love this. Super cool.
As I'm sure you're familiar with, gay men love the badass ladies.
It's been great to have. Well, no, actually, the gay men loved Emma Frost with her yawn. That was fabulous. But yes, I do appreciate all the love from all the places. I'm very appreciative. Yeah.
Yeah, I always say X-Men, Buffy and X-Men are like my two favorite things, and I do feel like they tend to have a more LGBTQ fan base than maybe other fandoms.
I mean, I don't know. I'm new to it. So for X-Men 97, I definitely feel it, but I have felt it in video games a lot, which is what I've worked in,
Yeah. So going into this, and there's no wrong answer. What were you familiar with Polaris at all going into like starting the show?
No. I feel terrible, but sometimes it's better when we don't know stuff because we don't get nervous about it, So I know about Professor X and Magneto and the ones that we've seen in the live action movies for sure. And, I had seen, X-Men 97 season 1. So I knew all of that, but I didn't know Polaris existed. And when I auditioned, I also didn't know it was X-Men 97 because they don't tell us. They keep everything under wraps. They have code names for everything. So I just connected to, the moment of the 2 scenes that I had to do. And I'm glad I didn't know it was X-Men because I would have probably just been like, how do I make this really good? And then I probably would have when you just start doing bad acting because you're trying so hard. And so it's just, it was better that I didn't know. It was so much better. Yeah.
Listen, I once went into an interview. My roommate in New York got me an interview at his job. It was doing customer service. And they were like, they asked you, what's a flaw? And I said, sometimes I think the way I talk, people can assume that maybe I'm dumb or whatever because I speak fast. And they did not like that answer. They brought me in for another interview and he was like, just don't say that again. You can't say that. And then I said it again because my brain just was malfunctioning and I was like, I can't believe I just said that again. Why did I? And I did not get the job. So sometimes you're nervous and you just say, right. You're like,
I know when you put too much, look, we need to care and we need to, do research and we need to prep. All of that stuff is important. But when we care too much, especially in acting, we start kind of showing that hunger and that desperation. And I feel like in any job, if you're just desperate to get hired, then they don't want that. They just want you to come in confidently and show them what you've got. And that's, I guess that's what I did in some form or another,
Listen, for me now, it's like Polaris hadn't really been in a lot of stuff outside of the comics. But for me, this is now definitive Polaris. Now when I read the comics, your voice is what I hear, which I promise is a very high compliment.
Great. I'm so glad. Thank you.
Lenore Zahn was always, Rogue since I was a kid. It's funny. She mentioned even when she auditioned that she also didn't know it was X-Men 97. But she was like, this seems like Rogue when she was reading the lines.
Oh, yeah. I guess once you've worked on something, though, you're like, this is vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
But with Polaris, I really didn't know. And even when they said you booked the job and she's Magneto's daughter, I was like, oh, so I started, reading up a little bit more on that because I didn't know, I knew about Scarlet Witch, but I didn't know enough about Polaris. So, yeah.
Well, and are you kidding? I have been reading X-Men since I was a child. My first job in high school was a comic book shop because I was there all the time. And the owner was like, do you want to work here? You're here a lot. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
X-Men 97, often when I'm talking to other fans or recording episodes, I'm like, God, have I ever read an X-Men comic? Because there's just so much lore.
There is so much. It's crazy. Yeah.
The thing I'm curious, what of the looks Polaris has had this season? So far, we've gotten 3. I mean, who knows if we'll get another one.
Yeah.
But where do you rank the looks? I'm curious.
Okay. I mean, the X-Force outfit is freaking cool. However, I don't like what it stands for. I like that we've moved on. And then when she comes back to the mansion, she's all like, check me out with my cute little belt and my 90s, semi bell bottoms, but not. So I dig that there's a moment where she's actually in full battle mode with Professor X in that outfit. But I do love the new X-Men attire. I think her little jacket is totally cool.
The jacket's really cute. Yeah, it really sells it.
Yeah. I did the cosplay for San Diego Comic-Con, but I didn't do the jacket because it was so hot. that, and when I was I work with this cosplayer, Melanie Jasmine, quite often. She's done a lot of cosplays for me. And, she sewed and like to my measurements, the shirt and the pants and the belt. But we didn't make the jacket just yet because I was like, there was no time. And I'm like, I'm not going to wear it. It's too hot. But I would love to put it on because like the lining is yellow on the inside. It's just like, it's cute. So I do dig that outfit quite a bit.
Yeah, I gotta say, normally I'm not as big of a fan of like when they have uniforms per se, but these ones are really cute. I like them.
But they're all different too.
Yeah, they're like
some
slightly
have the
different.
big jackets, some don't have. Like Rogue doesn't wear a jacket. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We like the just a little different for each character.
Yeah, it's like when the bridesmaids wear the same color but different, to their shape. I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good example because I do tend to like that better when it's like, just stay with the color, but do your thing.
Yeah, because if a strapless dress doesn't fit you well, it's horrible to put everybody in the same shape when they don't, it doesn't work for them.
Even Bishop gets his shirt's a little bit different than the other guys, which I like. What do you think of Polaris and Bishop?
Look, I'm not the writer of the show. I also, don't know all the comic lore, so I don't want to start saying this is going to happen. I am excited that Polaris felt the need to jump out of a plane to help / save
it's pretty badass.
Bishop. It was pretty badass, pretty sexy. I love that she may have fallen on top of him, and there's a moment there. And then there's definitely some banter going back and forth because they read each other's files and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's cute. And this character has had some tough moments leading up to this. We've only seen very serious, making important decisions, getting fired from a gig, and coming back to a new family, not new family, old family that is re-embracing her. And so I like that there's a little bit of, maybe there is some nice flirty, vulnerable moments that she can sink her teeth into. I am happy with whatever the writers choose to do, whether they push that forward or if other stuff happens. I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm always excited for love stories or flirtation or discovering a new side of them that maybe they haven't been able to explore in a minute. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm not that big of a fan of the I don't know, because we get so many straight love stories and everything. I'm always like, make it gay, and I'll like it more.
Yeah.
But I am kind of into Polaris and Bishop. Usually, Gambit and Rogue are the only straight couple I care about. But I do I gotta say, I think that both of y'all do a good job of flirtatious, but it's not laying it on too thick. It's just
Well, I also think they're just exploring it. It's just oh, wait a minute, I didn't see this coming. Oh, wait, okay, cool. So I don't know that it's. I think it's taken them by surprise too. I don't know that they both went in hey, let's do this. It was just holy cow, this is happening. All right, I can do this. I'm gonna jump out of a plane and chase. Okay, bam, I got my I was gonna say my helicopter, my
parachute.
Thank you, words. And I didn't plan to fall on top of him. It happened, and then we're hey, maybe you're kind of cute. I think it's catching them by surprise. So that's why I think it's not overt. It's just kind of we fell into this. Let's see what.
And I think that's why I like it, because it is just kind of sometimes you have a coworker that you're they're kind of cute, but I'm going to keep it professional. But now we're flirting a little bit more.
Yeah. I think they're discovering it. Yeah.
We've been covering episode by episode every week. We've had a lot of queer women say that Polaris is their new crush. I don't know if you're aware of.
Wow, I did not know this. Ooh, I'm all about it. Yes.
It's so funny because a lot of them have the same comparison to Eliza Dushku on Buffy. I have the same crush on her that I had on Eliza Dushku in Buffy. And I'm she's the cool girl where even if she's straight, she would probably be yeah, that's cool. You have a crush on me.
Yeah, I also think Lorna would be really good with power tools. So not to work into the stereotypes, but hello, let me come and fix your sink, baby. And the friends are oh my God. Hey, I'm happy when characters swing both ways, let the love open up. Yeah. But so far I don't know anything about that. Would I love it if, these doors open? Yes. And again, Marvel hasn't said this. This isn't canon. I'm not. So this is all my opinions. Anybody who's listening or reading, please. You know what I'm saying? Because then they're like, no. Carolina Ravassa says Polaris likes women. I'm like, no. And if she did, I would support it. But I don't know. So I'm happy for it all.
What's something you would, in your fantasy of something you could do with Polaris, that you could do with her?
Oh, gosh. Well, I think we just saw a little bit of how she really starts understanding magnetism and her powers, right?
Yeah.
So, like episode 6 was big on that. And I feel like, but it was this whole coming to moment. And it was Professor X saying, hey, you need to let your father in. And she's like, but I didn't know him. And so it's this whole thing, right? I want to see her just like, I'm here and I know how I'm doing it. And bam, this is how it's happening. So it's almost like her really honing in on how she uses her powers and owning them. I want that. I just love all the friendships to develop and grow. So whomever she's closest to at Professor X's humble abode.
Hey, she's got a nice room that was waiting for her, so.
Yeah, right?
And that place has been blown up 85 times.
I know. So I just love storylines to move forward. But I also know that there are so many characters now that they've included, especially since season 2.
Yeah.
I think that every episode's going to focus on different people. So it might be a while till we come back around to find out some more about what's going on. But yeah, I love that they keep helping each other out through tough moments. All the characters are going through something like, oh gosh, episode 7 or 8 with Nightcrawler and like my heart was sinking because they're all just like, how do I save the person I love? And how do I help these people who have supported me so much? And so I feel like it's just going to keep growing, showing how all of them help each other out, basically. I hope,
One of my co-hosts said this in one of our earlier episodes this season, because I was like, the thing I love about the X-Men is Wolverine will want to knock Cyclops out, but if someone else is knocking Cyclops out, he will have his back and fight them. And she was like, yeah, that's community, and that's what the X-Men are about, community. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I do feel like that's why the X-Men have always drawn in a lot of othered folks, right? Whether it's like women, queer folks, people of color. Like, I think that's like a thing people can kind of relate to in some kind of way, right?
Absolutely. I think, fantasy and sci-fi have been at the helm of inclusivity and diversity and inclusion way before anything in film and TV. And I feel like X-Men is the epitome of that, you know? What are mutants? They're misunderstood versions of people, and humans are trying to eradicate them because they are dangerous. When it's like, no, if you got to know them, you'd realize they could actually help you. So once we start othering somebody else because we don't understand their religious affiliations or if they happen to be LGBTQ plus, it's like, no, just talk to them as people and you'll find the heart within them. And so that's why I really admire, that's why I feel so proud to be a part of X-Men 97, because it really, everything they stand for, I do as a human. I grew up in South America. I've been auditioning for film and TV. I've been told I don't look Hispanic enough to play my people. I've been told I don't look white enough to play Caucasian. So, and then and then we live in an America right now that is very divisive and causing a lot of harm. So I feel like the X-Men are a little beacon of hope out there. I also love that the X-Men is so open about it is an adult comic, but they don't shy away from, Magneto had a little affair with Lorna's mom back in the day, and then Lorna's mom moved on and married this other guy, so she thought it was her father. And so affairs happen and love triangles, and so it can get complicated and messy like humanity is. We're not trying to kind of keep it nice and organized in a little box. Yeah. It is messy.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
They can find me at Ravassa That's my last name. Almost anywhere. The only one that I couldn't get it on was the Twitter, but who cares about that?
Yeah.
So yeah, TikTok, Insta, YouTube Shorts. I interview a lot of voice actors as well on my socials, and so I cut up clips, kind of like what you do, and put them on for all the video games I work on. So if anybody's interested in that, that's a lot of my content. Cool. And every time I go to conventions and stuff, I will announce there so people know that we're heading there to be able to meet them.
Cool. All right. Well. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you sitting and chatting with me. It was great meeting you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ian.
Favorite outfit? Michael?
Favorite outfit? I would say Storm in the little
I did like her dress.
Regal regalia that she was wearing as the headmistress, talking about let's go into battle. Like, I was like, okay.
I like the idea
got that shit on.
Of that being her house dress. Like, that's so fucking nice and fancy.
That's
but
just like, my lounge. This is just my lounging wear. Like, now that I'm the headmistress, I gotta step it up some more.
That's like my mom and grandma would, I don't know if this is like they would call it their bata. That's like in Spanish. I don't even know what the literal translation is, but it's like the like house coat is what they would call it. And I was like, ooh, Storm's got fancy house clothes. Tiffy, what was your favorite outfit?
100% Storms. I call it her hot girl muumuu abaya captain because it is all of those things. I loved it so much that it made me go look up the 2024 Storm solo run because that also had crazy fashion for Storm. Lucas Wernick did the art for that one.
He's good, yeah.
So I just took a whole bunch of different screenshots of her outfits because Storm is going to have that shit on every time. And I love when artists do her correctly. So that is my plug for the 2024 solo Storm run. If you want to see her have all kinds of love poured over her looks, her hair, especially, that's an issue where she has that green. Sorry, you asked me about the episode. The purple look, same as what Michael said.
I was like thrilled. I was like, yeah, tell me more about the Storm's outfits. Because I always loved, as a kid, when we would, like, the original run, when they would put them, and I like that they've done it in this 97. It's like a lot of the same, like, civilian clothes. And I mean, I'm sure we all remember there was like a time when the artists did not put work into their like civilian clothes. And I feel like, I mean, I know other artists, but Jamie McKelvey was one of the first artists that I was like, oh, he's really good at drawing them in clothes that aren't just like you're phoning it in with this outfit. Like, he would put together an outfit for the characters when they were in regular clothes. And I feel like I've seen that more and more. And I really appreciate that because some of these people would be really fashionable. I mean, some of them would not be, but like, I liked, I like Jim Lee as an artist, but wasn't it Jim Lee that put Rogue in like the stupid cutoff shorts and like the like sexy tied like yeah. Anyway, Ashley, what was your favorite?
I was gonna say that's also something that has me sad about the end of the Krakoa era of not getting the Hellfire Gala.
Love the Hellfire
every
Gala.
single year and all the different outfits. Now, granted, some of the outfits, I was like, what are we doing?
And Storm never got a proper outfit.
Storm was never one of those.
She never got a proper outfit. I've never liked that. But Hayden Williams did such great fan art of hers. He did the one beautiful champagne gold look, and it was flowing. Beautiful work.
Yeah, and in many ways, some of the fan art was way better than even the fact that we had that little camaraderie of coming together with the Hellfire Gala. Like, that's something I definitely miss with Krakoa.
Ashley?
I mean, really, technically, it would also be Storm, but since two people said it, I would I'll give it to Rogue's wedding outfit. Wedding from hell, but at least you looked good, which, I mean, that's been my line to quite a few of my friends getting married. So, I don't like that man you're marrying, but if you're gonna do this, at least you're gonna look damn good going down the aisle.
Unsurprisingly, my favorite looks were Gambit and Rogue, because Gambit was like really working for me. And Rogue, she looked like she walked straight out of a My Chemical Romance video. I was very into it. I was like, yes. It was like My Chemical Romance meets, did Jesse Ready or Not 2?
Yeah.
Samara Weaving, the dress she wears at the end.
Biceps, I know the outfit.
Emma Frost.
Yes. Also, that's casting I never would have thought of, but feels perfect. Like,
So perfect.
right? Yeah.
Oh, well, speaking
Also,
of, did you see that Kit Connor is
Yes.
Cyclops?
Cyclops. Yeah. I like it. Again, that's not something I would have thought of, but I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like the Boy
I
Scout.
think when they announce Storm, I think you'll just, I'm scared.
It's
I'm so
either gonna
scared.
make or break the internet.
It
Like,
literally it like might that could just be what starts a war. Like I think that'll do it. That will do it. I'm
I think
terrified,
the
but
like if it's bad casting, I think the only thing that will quell the internet is if Beyonce releases Act 3. Other than that, like,
At the same time,
yeah,
that would be the only
that's the
thing that
only
would
thing.
distract me. That
Yeah,
would work on me. It's
yeah,
like
same.
dangling some keys in my face. Like
so
I'd
here's my
be
question also for y'all in terms of like because we are getting these X-Men castings live action almost every couple of days since the brand new day of it all. Um, and we kind of touched on like, obviously the show can't go on forever. Do we think they'll do a live action while the animated show is still going on?
Yes, I do. I do.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
hope so.
I think it's just gonna
I mean,
be
I'm nervous with these storylines. I'm like, it did get me thinking earlier of like, I hope that these storylines are, especially since this is a reboot, like or I shouldn't say a reboot, but like, we're bringing back storylines from X-Men 92. I'd be sick if after all of that we left off with, unfinished storylines because of the speed in which things are
yeah.
going. And then they're like, oh, you know what? We got this X-Men project that's going on, and this is the only rogue or whatever that we want
Because I'm
people.
like, if I remember correctly, we got a Superman movie at the same time that Smallville was on. So like, why
Mhm.
can't?
That's true.
yeah, I think but you know, they make surprising decisions that I think catch everyone off guard. It
Right.
makes a lot of sense to as you're building the X-Men into the MCU and whatever those properties can be to continue running with X-Men 97. It makes sense to me, but what do I know? I'm not the corporate guy in the office making the decisions.
I mean, Wonder Man got announced for season 2, and then that randomly was no longer the case. And honestly, that was the main show I would say should have stayed for the mutant storyline because that
Emmy
had touched on it
nominated.
first. Emmy
Yeah,
nominated.
fucking Emmy
Acting.
nominated.
Yeah,
Yes.
Acting too, which is I think is very specific to talk about because
Yes.
they get nominations for like effects and things like that. The awards will like throw in a costume
Right.
nomination just to get them there. But very specifically, the only people who have really been made who have been nominated for major awards for a Marvel project in terms of acting has been Angela Bassett when she was nominated for her Oscar, and Yaya for Wonder Man, and neither one of them are coming back at the current moment.
yeah, no.
So,
But I have to
so
ask,
yeah.
with regards to the casting, I have to actually ask a question and this is more so for Dr. Smalls, but Tiffy as well, black woman, the two black women on the podcast. But like, because obviously with Sadie Sink, I think she's like 24.
Yeah,
We got Kit Connor, who's 22. But
22.
then we also got Samara Weaving, who's 34.
34. Yeah.
And like when it comes to the casting of Storm, because also in many ways it feels like an X-Men evolution thing that they're doing. Like they're doing a much younger version of the X-Men. But even when it came to X-Men evolution, who were the older ones? It was Xavier, Wolverine, and Storm. For me personally, I don't want them to go older because I even saw somebody else saying, "Oh well, because they're so young, maybe we can have Storm be more of the mentor, like the older one, to guide them." And it's like, I don't want that. If you're gonna have Cyclops and Jean be like 22, 24, I'm hoping Storm is the same age because also like Storm and Jean are best friends. It wouldn't make sense to have like a 40-year-old Storm
I love
and
that
Jean be
friendship.
best.
Yeah.
But then more importantly, like there's a trope of adultifying black people, especially black women. And so like I don't necessarily want to see an older, more established Storm where you got the rest of these X-Men running around being in their younger. I want Storm to be just as young as Jean and Cyclops and everybody else. Like, I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way?
Absolutely. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I
I think
don't
the only reason why we started to view Storm as more matronly, and I love Allison Seeley Smith, But I think that it was specifically her style of voice and the cadence that she brought to Storm. It gave maturity that the other characters didn't get. And I think
Mm.
that's because everywhere else it appears that, with the exception of X-Men Evolution, Storm is the same age as everybody else. Even in the Fox 2000s movies, they're all the same age. Cyclops, Storm, Jean, Wolverine, they're, not Wolverine, but they're all representing around the same age. I think we fell into this Storm is older category because we're used to her long monologues and this goddess present that, yeah, adultified her or put her more in this matronly category than she ever deserved.
I mean, yeah, you got Cyclops. You got Cyclops, who's regularly in a threesome, in a throuple every other day. You got Jean Grey passing out every 2 business days, and then you have Storm, who seems to be the only one with herself about her, and so
Like above it all.
yeah, and so then people instantly decided she must be an adult, and it's or she must be older. And it's like, well, she is. So she does start to give the sense she might be the only adult in the room, but I don't know if it's for the reasons that you guys are trying to attribute to her. I wouldn't want her to be that much older than if Jean is about 22, oldest 25. And I mean, I know that there are some, I mean, there's some older actresses who can still play that age, which I don't,
Right.
so I mean, I don't want to say that that means that they can't cast someone who maybe is 31, but let
You
me
know,
know that's for the casting department to figure out. But like, I still want her age in the movie to be that of someone who is still around the same age as her counterpart. I think she deserves that. Also, to that point, the newly announced T'Challa is also young. And even though I don't want them completely going down that route in terms of the storyline, because even though people act like that was something that was a major part of their story, it wasn't. It's actually more short-lived than people try
yeah,
to
they weren't married for that
credit
long.
to it. They were
Well, no,
not.
they
I
weren't.
got
No.
eaten up. They tried real hard to eat me up over that one. Black men specifically were upset when I said that I wanted Storm's introduction into the MCU to be independent of T'Challa. And that's not
Same.
because I
Yeah.
don't want to see them together as a strong black couple in the MCU, is that she exists then more than the Black
Outside
Panther's
of
wife.
I mean,
Yeah.
very much so. And doesn't her story just isn't there as much. I'm not saying I don't want to see them interact. I would love that, or
Exactly.
some credit to that storyline. I mean, and who knows what we ever get an X-Men versus Avengers storyline at some point, even though I don't know how I feel about that because we got a whole lot of Avengers crossovers going on at the moment. But like if that would be the case, then obviously that would be a moment. But like, yeah, even if they're going to even think about doing that, they still have to cast somebody younger because the actor that they have to play T'Challa is on the younger side as well.
Yeah,
but
because a lot of people
you
are saying Jamie Lawson, which she's 28. So I'm like, okay, that's still around the same age. Like,
I mean, that's what I mean. I don't know what they'll do in terms of casting, but I think like that, that's why I was saying there are people could be maybe slightly older, but they can play someone much younger. Like if Jamie told me she was 25, I would believe her. Like
I you brought up a good point because I was thinking like where are they going to meet with the ages? Because it's not like Samara Weaving. She could play like 30. And I'm
yeah.
wondering if they age everyone to like 25, then like, okay, they can all like, be around. Like, that's not a big deal if she's dating Cyclops, later and they're only like 5 years apart. I was wondering if they would do that, like kind of like just do a like, we're going to meet in the middle with all their ages. Because also, Sadie Sink and Kit Connor, they're not filming yet,
Yeah.
theoretically, so they will be older. Not that they're going to be old, but they'll be older. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Sorry, we're running over, but you guys
There's a
were
whole lot of X-Men stuff happening, guys. I know we're
there
supposed to
is.
talk about the
It's
show, but
back to back to back to back.
like you gotta give us some credit here. We've been waiting for so long, and now we got multiple shit going on. Like
Yeah.
we don't know what to do. It's like y'all been acting like the X-Men don't fucking exist, and the whole time Jean Grey was just over there in foster care. Like you gotta you gotta give me a moment.
Favorite scene, because mine is gonna be Rogue pulling Gambit out because that was the emotional beat that landed for me. Ashley.
Huh. I'll give it to the psychics, even though technically Jean should have been able to do that shit on her own. Like this is
No,
light
I
work
agree. I did
for
like that
you.
too, though. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm almost of the belief that she saw the girl power, I mean, added Cable to the moment, and was just like, yeah, let's just have this moment. And I won't sit here and act like I could have just carried this shit by myself. It's absolutely okay. But it was cute. It was cute to see like Psylocke like
Yeah.
butterfly thing, and then Cable's whole thing, and it was a cute moment. So
I
I'll give
really
them
like the way they animate Psylocke's powers. I think it looks really cool.
yes
Yeah. Michael?
I would say for me, it's Nightcrawler giving everybody the hands, like
and feet while we
and
Yeah.
feet. Yeah,
That feels like
hashtag
more
only
humiliating,
feet.
defeated by
Yeah.
his feet. Tiffy?
I do want to say real quick, I think it's funny that Psylocke was having her moment being like, oh, I detect something, and Jean cut her off real quick. She's like, oh, is this people in the plane? Like, she's like, nah, my man likes psychics too much. Decide it, bitch. There are
Yeah.
two psychics up here. You're not the only one. I felt them too. She cut her off so fast. Jean, relax. So I did like that scene. But, and if we're doing the thing where we're not doing what someone else said, because mine was Rogue's moment of pulling Gambit out, I'm gonna go when Apocalypse realizes that Kendra betrayed him. Because anytime a man realizes that he fucked up and he's betrayed by someone that he hurt first, that gets me right here. He
Yeah.
deserves that.
What, what
like you
grade?
killed her people. You wanted to love her? The
He
fuck?
killed her people, and it's
The
like
fuck?
Agamemnon in the Odyssey. You sacrificed your daughter, and you got surprised that your wife came home and it killed you, sir.
What grade do we give this episode, Michael?
C.
Fair. Yeah, it's fair. Tiffy?
I I go with a B plus.
Okay. Ashley?
B minus.
Uh, per usual, I'm in the middle. C plus. There's just like we were zoom. This is the worst culprit of zooming through the plot. So that's the only, but I still enjoyed it. It's still better than a lot of other things. I still
We're gonna do
like
pluses.
watching
I'll
X-Men.
do C plus too. C plus.
It's weird. It's a good episode in the sense of like, of course, I loved seeing so many things, but I'm also just like, this could have at minimum two
A
episodes. Like
minimum, yes.
I would have loved a little bit. I would have loved an episode of Gambit coming back
Yeah.
and them maybe they're doing something, and whole time we, the audience, know, yo, Gambit is over there in New Orleans causing havoc. My God,
Yeah.
somebody go get to the bayou. Like, and then the reveal of it all that would lead into this episode of being the fight would have probably then allowed me to be like,
Yeah.
you know, but we
Also,
didn't. And it just, yeah.
Also, Ashley, I was thinking of you when he's in New Orleans because I thought of our recording for Lestat and how you said that Zach's voice is very Gambit, and I was like, oh, and then he does kind of sound like Zach, and then he's in New Orleans, and now I'm thinking of Lestat and my man.
And yeah, and Ashley, kind of like what you said, like, yeah, in terms of an episode, it's really good. Like, if I'm just judging the episode, I would give it higher. But for this to be the penultimate episode
Yeah.
of a finale in terms of an entire season arc, and the fact that we're rushing through stuff, I'm just like, eh.
We shouldn't still be thinking where are we going, and there's one episode
Yeah,
left.
right. Like
Yeah.
I should know. Like
Yeah.
I know. Obviously, we're getting an X-Men versus the other X groups,
Right.
battle, and I get that. But I don't know who like I mean, I guess Apocalypse is the big bad, but instead of all the X groups teaming up to be like, we got to figure out how the fuck we're gonna get Apocalypse out and be prepared for whatever the fuck he's gonna do when he's out of Gambit, because
Yeah.
I imagine he has a plan for that. It's just everybody's about to be fighting each other, and I don't know what the goal here is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for listening. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else. You can watch all of our episodes because everything is a video recording on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. You can find us on social at SlayerFestX98. You can support us on Patreon. We are going through every episode of Buffy as it turns 25. We have season 6 coming up soon. We are covering X-Men the Animated Series and Batman the Animated Series. I've been very lax on releasing them, but I promise to catch up. And if you want to follow me, I'm at ENX Carlos. Tiffy, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Tiffie Starchild across all platforms.
And Michael.
You can find me BlackgayComicGeek across all platforms.
And Ashley.
Ashley K. Smalls, all platforms.
We love a consistent brand. All right, everyone. We will see you next time. Bye.